Get your tickets now for the Dog Stars.
It's no surprise how fast civilization can disappear. Out there, it's kill or be killed.
Jacob Elordi.
There are people out there.
They need our help.
Josh Brolin.
Shoot first and inquire afterwards.
Margaret Qualley.
Ow.
Okay, tough guy.
And Guy Pearce.
Arm up.
The Dog Stars. Directed by Ridley Scott. In theaters August 28th. Get tickets now. Rated R. Under 17, not admitted without parents.
When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
Welcome to the Interviews Podcast.
Welcome, Interisti, to episode 212 of the Interviews Podcast. We are here because our mercato is finally moving. It's finally humming. We've got outgoings. We've got incomings. And we've got to talk about all of it. As always, I'm one half of your co-hosting duo, Alessandro Raffa, joined here by Gianni Paterno. Gianni, some good stuff, some interesting stuff. The conversations have been crazy. It's like all of a sudden... Interisti will always find a way to go at each other. How have you been enjoying the conversation the last couple of days now that we finally have some action?
I've enjoyed the conversation, of course. I mean, there's a lot of good things that have come from this, a lot of things that I am, excited about and looking forward to seeing how things play out. But I don't know, maybe I'm a little more reserved in some other ways because I like to err on the side of caution in some things, and then I also, don't want to give too much credit to certain individuals that people seem to be wanting to praise as if they could walk on water. So,
okay, fair enough. I mean, we're going to talk about all of it.
Yeah, we are.
We're going to try something different with this like slideshow presentation kind of thing. This is probably not going to be an in-season thing because it's more of like. It's going to be hard to do right after a game. Right after a game, it's like we're talking about the game itself. The Mercato episodes are more like there's just a lot of different kind of conversation, narratives, a lot of different stories going on. So this feels like a good way for us to keep it, structured in line. All right, so let's get into it.
Let's roll.
Let's roll. Up first, we're going to talk about Frattesi's legacy because, as everyone knows, Frattesi is on his way to Lazio. Davide Frattesi goes to Lazio for, let's just... Twitter's blocked. What happened here? Oh, that's super annoying. Okay, anyway, so my Twitter's blocked. But basically, Frattesi goes to Lazio for an initial loan fee of 1 million euros, a buy option that will get triggered, will become an obligation for 15 million euros if Lazio finishes in 10th place or Frattesi, I think it's 23 to 25 appearances. Do you know?
I saw 22 on one thing, so I don't know what the right number is.
I'm going to share this thing with you because maybe you can take a look at it. I don't know why my Twitter's blocked. But either way, this is our first big departure. We've essentially, outside of Dumfries, which happened, way earlier this summer. And when I say big departure, it's not like, we're losing a core of the team, but this summer, the Mercato has kind of been defined not only by the players that we haven't been able to bring in, but also the players that we haven't been able to get get rid of, essentially. And Frattesi is, first up on the chopping block. It seems like a move that he's very happy with. Some posts coming out from when he was a kid that maybe he was a Laziale and not a Romanista. Your initial thoughts on this move while I try to figure out how to get these tweets up here.
Initial thoughts. A year late. We didn't get what we probably should have got for him. I think we should have sold when he was at his height, and I'm putting that in air quotes for the people who aren't watching the pod. 30 million was an offer last year. I think we should have tried to capitalize on that. He was a very limited player there. He doesn't really do anything of note, anything worth getting excited about. And to now only get, $1 million for him now alone with the potential for an additional 14 more. It's kind of disappointing. I understand it's probably the best that we were going to be able to get. That's not lost on me. People who have I've been conversing back and forth with about this, who are trying to defend it as hey, this is the best Piero could have done. I was like, no, the best Piero could have done was what he could have got last year, and instead tried to hold out for an extra 5 million euros. And now we're getting only half of what he could have gotten. Anyone who watched this player play saw his limitations, saw that he was not good technically, that his only endearing quality is that he knew how to, maybe be able to score a timely goal. And even that is, you expect more from a player who's considered a midfielder who can actually complete, more than one pass at a time. Anyway, I don't want to, continue to just beat up on this guy, because if you do look up my most hated player on my tweets, it is Davide Fratesi, according to Grok. So I'm thrilled to more so to get him off the books. I think I said a couple episodes ago that I would, take whatever we can for him. So I really shouldn't be complaining, but I think I'm just more so upset that we waited a year, and it was a year that didn't have to be, burn his value. That's all we did, was just ruin his value because of what he was such a limited player last year and didn't really offer even the thing that he's known for doing. He didn't really offer any of that. So good riddance. I'm not going to sing his praises or act like he is some club legend. Some people are calling him a club legend, and that's what's bothering me. And if you disagree with me, please don't comment on the pod. Just message me directly. I would actually like to have a conversation on why you want to throw the word club legend after his name. It just doesn't make sense to me. That to me, that's a disservice to people who are actually club legends, like a Bergomi, like a Zanetti. You could say Materazzi's a club legend. Obviously, a bunch of players from the treble team. I'm not going to name everyone because I could be here forever. But that to me is club legend status, not because somebody scored a great timely goal that got us to a Champions League final. And outside of that, there's nothing really. And people who want to throw in the Udinese goal and the Chievo goal, let me just say this to you, and please hear me. We would have won the title without those goals and without those wins. We would have won that title. That's all I'm going to say. We could talk more in depth about it. I don't want to get into it here. And I know there's going to be people who are going to disagree with me, and I could already hear two specific individuals leaving comments, talking trash. Cool, you disagreed. All right. I would be more than happy to have a conversation with you, and we could actually talk about it like an adult, not hiding behind a screen. But anyway, that's how I feel about this player. I'm glad he's gone. Okay.
So I think the thing that you said there that was probably the most interesting in terms of their narrative that we've been talking about, because here's what is indisputable. Club legend is a lot. He scored some important goals, but largely for the entirety of his tenure, I think it was pretty obvious actually, early on. It didn't take that long to figure out that he wasn't a fit in the 3-5-2. It wasn't a fit in the system. It wasn't a fit in what we were trying to do. It just wasn't. It wasn't the right player for what we needed. He did score timely goals. It's nothing against the person. He seemed to give it his all. Obviously, you're not. It's not trying to shit on a player, but also you can acknowledge square peg round hole, and it didn't fit. So the best thing for the team was to move on from him. What you said that I think is the most interesting part of this whole thing, and we're going to get into it in a few slides here, maybe even the next slide. 2 slides down. Is this idea that like his outgoing transfer is a win from the sense that he's no longer here, and that's about it. Everything else about it, considering that we did have offers that were much more in line with at least recouping a little bit of value, from him initially being brought in, like it wasn't hard when those offers initially came in to see that he wasn't going to ever figure it out. No coach was going to take advantage of his skills, nothing. Like it wasn't going to work. So when that offer came in, the smart thing to do would have been to take it. Instead, again, like I'm not going to shit on the player, but I'm also not going to pretend like it's a great deal outside of the fact that he's gone, because it's not. If you take the entirety of the context, he could have been gone a year ago. It took us until 9 days before the season opens for him to move on. That's not a good deal. That's not a good deal. I apologize. I can't open these tweets for some reason. It's blocking on my Chrome, but we have Anto, who's a big friend of the pod. He's definitely Fratesiano. Not necessarily, he's not sad to see him go, but he was rooting for him the whole way through. You have Johnny, obviously, tired of the forced, thank you for your service stuff. At the end of the day, as far as my opinion is concerned with his legacy, I'm going to remember, some good moments, but I'm also not going to pretend like it didn't hurt the team having someone whose agent was constantly pushing for transfers in January. Oh, he's unhappy, he's got to go. Who every time he came onto the pitch, it's like you see him touch the ball 10 times. Again, it has nothing to do with the player. It's just like the fit wasn't working. Like it's It
has to do with the player. He is a limited player. Anyone who watched him at Sassuolo knew that he was a limited player. Like, why is it that fans of other clubs were thrilled that we got him instead of their club getting him? Because they saw, listen, you could say what you want, but like Art Morelli, big Napoli fan, was thrilled that we got him and not Napoli, because he said the same things that I was saying when he was between Frattesi and Samardzic. And I don't want to keep beating a dead horse and bringing up the comparison between the two, but you saw a technically gifted player who could be turned into a mezzala, who could make a line-breaking pass, who could score from outside the box, who could take set pieces. You saw all the tools in his box. I didn't see anything that made me think, wow, Frattesi could be a player that fits this system. When people were calling him the next Barella, I thought it was ridiculous, because there's nothing that he does that's even close to what Barella does. So, I just don't understand. I think
people are so I think the verbiage is really important. When you say it's about the player, what I think people hear when they hear that is it's about the person. Like they're like, you're like shitting. It has nothing to do with.
It has nothing to do with the person.
Your belief is in the player, that there wasn't much there to begin with. He comes in for a big fee. He ends up not being able to perform, and your problem has to do with, you feel like the fan base is propping up a player who had a few moments, but ultimately was a failure, and nothing is being made of that. It's like entirely, oh, thank you.
I do want to ask a question.
Okay.
About this, and it was actually something I actually got in a debate with, and I'm not going to give my stance. I guess people are going to know my stance based on the question, so it doesn't really matter. But I really want to, just because I think people care more about what you have to say than what I have to say. So what I will ask is, between what it meant for the club, okay? What it meant for the club. Which goal do you think was more important? And I'm not going to listen. If you disagree with me, that is fine. I'm not going to get upset or think of you any differently. Do you think the goal by Vecino against Lazio to get us back in the Champions League was a bigger goal than the goal that Frattesi scored against Barcelona? Or do you think it's the other way around?
The goal that Vecino scored, is the bigger goal. Reason being, that goal is what started this entire cycle. That goal, like without getting into the Champions League that season, Spalletti's last?
Spalletti did have one more year after that. That was the one that got him back, because he also got us again. Remember, we beat Empoli at the end of the season to then also be able to continue in the Champions League when we finally did bring Conte in. But that one was the one that started this cycle.
Yeah, I think it's way bigger. Also because that was 3-3 in extra time. Like, it wasn't like we had the opportunity to continue to do stuff in that game. This was what you're talking about is like a last minute,
and last day of the season, last chance to get into the Champions League. And what I said, and I'm going to say this calmly, I'm not going to get heated or passionate, but what I said, the reason it's a more important goal is because if that goal doesn't happen, the players that we love right now that are at the club aren't brought in. Conte doesn't start his cycle. That then goes into Inzaghi's cycle. If you miss Champions League after that year, chances are, like the rumors were already, again, it was rumors, but the rumors were already going on that Icardi would leave, that the players that, were there who were considered stalwarts at the time were going to be gone. I mean, yes, it was already confirmed that De Vrij was coming in on a free, but we probably would have lost Mauro Icardi, who was, the big part, was the marquee player for us, realistically. So, who knows what happens with Perisic, because after that season is when Manchester United wanted to spend 50 million. That's when Mourinho was at Manchester United. That was when they wanted to bring in Ivan Perisic. They wanted to bring in, who knows what happens with Brozovic? Who knows? Like, a lot of things could have played out differently, where this could have been a completely different trajectory for the club. So I argued that the goal by Vecino was a more important goal for this club than the goal that Frattesi scored. Others would say, oh, we got to the Champions League final. Absolutely. Listen, huge moment. And to me, that is his marquee moment at the club. And in the moment, I'll never forget, I was watching that game with a friend who was a Laziale, and I was also watching the game with another friend who was a Juventino, and they both kind of looked at me because they knew my stance on Frattesi, and they said, now you got to celebrate him. Yeah, you know what? And I did celebrate him. I did praise him for that moment. That was a monumental goal for him, and I am thankful for that moment. However, who knows what could have happened outside of that, whatever, if somebody else would have stepped up. What if, Taremi scored, or in another, whatever. Things could have happened. What happened in that game against Lazio, if that game ended in a draw, we're not fourth. Lazio's fourth. We don't get anything. So it's I think if you understand the gravity of it and what the effects would have happened after that, I think that if you look at it logically, you might see it differently. But again, other people are going to think they're what they want, and I don't know. I could just already hear the voices. So
I think you seem very frustrated with the whole Frattesi conversation, and I think like if I can, defend you when it comes to like the people coming at you. I think what I'm hearing is someone who like didn't want this player to begin with, and had to deal with several years of it being apparent that what you thought was a waste of money to begin with, every time he touched the field, it felt more and more like you felt more and more validated, and then he finally leaves in a deal that, whatever people want to make of it, the win is that he's gone, but the reality is the deal is not great. And then you see people being like, thank you so much for your service. I understand why like you're frustrated. And I think like, at the end of the day, it's Twitter and we all talk, but like,
yeah, it is. And like, listen, I know I'm an idiot too on there. Like, I'm not going to pretend like I know all, or I'm better than people, or I'm smart. Like I that's what I hope. Like, me and Anto, we talk privately. We talk on our own. We disagree on a lot of things. We disagree on Frattesi specifically. But you know what we're able to do? We're able to understand each other's points. We can leave the conversation amicably, and guess what? We can do it without like just name calling or whatever, whatever other people want to do. We can have a mature conversation and disagree like mature grown adults, and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Like there's other people in this fan base who I can actually have conversations with and disagree with, and they may not like my point of view. And even if when I am wrong about something, one thing that I'm able to do is admit that, yeah, you know what, I was wrong about XYZ, or wrong about, this situation, whatever. I have no problem admitting it when I'm wrong, but I also can be stubborn in some other areas, and I can dig my heels in even still in those certain things if I have a stance that I'm passionate about. And you know what, maybe you could say that about Frattesi specifically, but yeah, like I just, when you're unable to have a conversation about something without it becoming like name calling, like I already feel like I won the argument then. If that's what you have to resort to, and you can't just really, talk to me about it. So,
all right.
Yeah. Anyway,
let's move on from it. At the end of the day, Frattesi is out. Inter, that's an important outgoing, especially positionally when you consider some of the targets. And when I say some of the target, I mean specific requests from Kibu that he's looking for. Let's see how things play out there. Well, let's move on to the incoming. Inter gets a deal done for Djed Spence, one of the World Cup stars. He comes in on a deal, a transfer fee worth 31.5 million euros. He actually just touched down in Milano. I guess we'll start with, what do you think about the player? What are your thoughts on the player himself?
I'm a fan of the player. I think that he's going to be a player that does, work out for. Well, let me phrase it. I hope that he does work out for us. I do think he is a great defensive player. He's got great pace. The effort is never lacking. When you see someone making a run like that to make a last ditch tackle, like that's the kind of player that you want at Inter, who will give all that he can for it. I put out a sarcastic tweet out there mostly because of,
I know,
again,
it very seriously, where I think maybe like,
it's more so me making fun of Fabrizio Romano.
I know, but you can't joke
anymore. You can't joke, and it's like I'm making fun of, if you realize it's here we go in a more like pretentious manner that thus we embark. Like that's all it is.
Is that Simone Frenia?
That I know. I'm locked out. I'm locked out of Steve Morafrena's account. That's kind of upsetting. But yeah, so like I was just doing it to make fun of Fabrizio. That's really what it is. It's not that I have a problem with Djed Spence. Like I like the signing. I think that we got actually a good deal on the price, to be quite honest. I thought it was going to be more. So to get it at that price, listen, that's fantastic. Like the way I look at it is, I didn't like what we got for Dumfries, but we didn't spend as much on Spence. So it's like, I thought it was going to be, 40 to 45 million euros. So like it kind of makes up for the bad deal, in my opinion, of losing Denzel Dumfries, if that makes sense. So,
As far as the player is concerned, I really like the player. We'll talk about all the different aspects, the deal, the whatever it is. But as far as the player is concerned, here's where I think the team got a lot better. Number one, his athleticism. He was the fastest player at the World Cup recorded. We're watching highlights if you guys are listening audio only, but like his track back ability, he gets on his horse and he flies. For Serie A, for the league, there's not many of those guys. He's already, from an athletic standpoint, a unicorn for the league. Okay, but we'll see how it plays out in Europe. But typically, this is the kind of players that you see out on the wings in Europe. They're fast, and you need to have players with. Here's the second reason why I really like this signing: personality. His personality is everything that Luis Enrique's was not. He is in your face immediately on the defensive side. Like, he will track you back. He'll get in your face. There's plenty of videos. I'm sure people have been watching the comps of like he gets in players' faces. As far as the take-ons are concerned, again, you're watching in the video right now. No fear whatsoever. And this isn't even me like, I'm not waxing poetic about the fact like he's an elite defender. Like, no, he got tuned up a few times, especially against Argentina in the World Cup. Everyone that's been calling him like this is an elite defender. He's a really aggressive defender, but elite, no. As far as like the take-ons and stuff, he's very, again, aggressive. He has the instinct to take you on, but he's not like super technical elite step overs, elite moves to get past you. It's more of like a speed thing. His instinct is good as far as like when he knows he can blow by you. But guys, that is already a huge improvement over going with another season of a season of full time of Andy Diouf and Luis Enrique. Is that kind of how you see it too? Like, this isn't the greatest player in the world, but just his attitude and his athleticism, it's already a huge win.
Yes, I mean 100%. Like, the only thing, like I did say, like, I mean, was that he didn't have a great run at Genoa. He didn't really have any memorable moments, anything that really stood out in his play. Like, the couple of times I did see him play for them, I was kind of underwhelmed, to be honest. So, like,
I don't have a significant memory of him.
See, and I do, because I remember I was like, wow, I can't believe Genoa got Djed Spence on loan. Like, I didn't think that would be something that they would be able to even pull off. He didn't play a ton of games. He didn't, like, again, do anything memorable. So the whole tweet was more so just making fun of it, making fun of Fabrizio Romano, and that's it. However, everything that you just said, 100% agree with everything. Like, it is nice. The speed is going to be so welcome to have like. I was talking about it with a couple of buddies too, and I was like, imagine if he was the one that is running down Estupinian in the derby instead of Luis Enrique. Like, that goal doesn't happen. It doesn't take place. At the very least, he gets annoying enough that maybe it makes it, a weaker shot, and maybe he has to, lay it off, and maybe somebody else scores. Regardless, we lost that game 1-0, right? Like, so, like, who knows what could have happened had it been Djed Spence in that position,
especially in a high line where it's like, Akanji could maybe get caught out, John Stones could maybe get caught out.
Like, I would have felt a lot better about him being there if when Acerbi would make his runs, for him to be able to sprint back and make some kind of play to be able to stop it. So, yeah, it is a good signing in terms of value. It's a good signing in terms of athleticism. Obviously, his pace and speed are going to be phenomenal for us. I'm excited to see what happens. Like, am I thinking he's going to be Hakimi reborn? No, but I also don't think yeah, listen, I would love that.
We're gonna root for it for sure.
Exactly. Like, I'm going to root for the player. I do think that he's going to it may take him a little while to start in this 11, and maybe he does start right away. I don't know. But I think in the early, at least in the first game of the season, I think it's going to be Andy Diouf on the right side to kind of see how things play out. But happy with the signing. I'm much more happy with the price, especially where it is. So, like, I'm going to agree with I don't know if you saw the video that Ant did for Inter Worldwide. I'm going to give the credit to Marotta, and I'm not going to give it to Piero. That's what he did. So I'm going to back him on that too.
We're going to talk about that next. I think couple more things that I just want to touch on with Djed. So first things first, as far as the value is concerned, 31 mil it's pretty good for a few things. One, like, he's English, coming from the Premier League. You would expect that value would be higher, but also it makes you a little nervous because he did have a fantastic, some fantastic showings in the World Cup. He was available. Apparently the only other team that wanted him was Everton. And Inter was the only big team. And a lot of the reason why this transfer gets done at 31 is because he really wanted to come to Inter. It's good that we're not.
And you know what else is good from Tottenham's point of view? It's like, we would rather get 31 million now than wait a year, have him be the backup to Porto or Udogie.
Udogie, yeah.
And then only be able to get 15 million the next year. So, wow, that's well thought out by Spurs.
I see what you're doing there. the deal is also good on the wage bill. It's like 3 or 3.5.
Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Michele De Antoni, a good analyst from the perspective of just looking at the numbers, the technical analyst stuff. He made a point that I think Sharma also was talking about. People were putting out and I had tweeted this. It's one of the things that bothers me so much is like people look at a number and they interpret it completely wrong. He did not have super great numbers as far as crossing is concerned. You look at his heat map from Spurs, or you watch any of these games, he's playing on the left-hand side. He's a right-footed player. It's just like you're not going to get huge crossing numbers, from the left-hand side. He's naturally going to cut into his right. That's one of the things that he talks about. He talks about how aggressive he is in the dribble. I just think people that are putting out, the stats and stuff maybe don't interpret it the way that they should be interpreted. And what you should be doing is like, we just were watching a comp of him. Like that's where you see what he is. Super athlete, will chase people down, is aggressive, and like all of that plays. All of that will play in the system. So really actually very happy with Djed coming in.
Yeah. About time we got something worth being excited. Not that I wasn't excited about John Stones, but I mean like paying money for a player,
Yeah. I took a look at the data, jumped into Data MB Pro. So you guys know what I do as far as I like to know how involved the player is. So there's the passes received per 90 on the y-axis. And I tried to find where is this player an outlier? So pretty successful. This is with the entirety of the Premier League, not age adjusted or anything like that. He's up there as far as successful dribbles per 90. He's super outlier, super elite. Not the most elite. That was actually, I believe this was Ainori at Man City, but pretty out there for the Premier League for progressive carries per 90. And then just the frequency that he carries the ball is out there as well. So this is someone who, is kind of the opposite of Luis Enrique, who's good in the build-up, but not necessarily confident in his ability to take people on. Djed does not suffer from that. All right, on to the next. I don't know why this is kind of looking weird here. But we got to talk about Piero Ausilio, because these first two moves that we've made, which are the first couple moves that we've made in a month and a half, maybe even longer. Now I'm seeing a lot of Piero Ausilio masterclass. You can see here on the screen. Dama Puzo. Maybe now Inter fans can be a little happy, seeing many refusing to sign Piero Ausilio's apology form.
I'm upset that he was even a part of this podcast. Anyway.
Yeah, people, wishing him a good time in Ibiza this weekend. Really happy for Piero Ausilio. I have a whole lot that I really want to say on this topic. But before I rant, I want to give you the opportunity, because I'm going to be talking for a minute here. Your thoughts on what I'll classify as Piero Ausilio revisionism, because two moves occurred, both moves that are good for the future of Inter. We needed Frattesi out, we needed Spence in, but now, should we have to reckon with we're wrong about Piero and he's actually a really great director? I don't know. What are your thoughts?
No, I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit here and praise Piero Ausilio and change my Twitter tag. I'm still Ausilio out. I don't think that two moves. Again, what we just talked about in terms of you're not getting the value for a player when, because you're haggling over 5 million euros, when you still would have made a profit on the player who, just ended up being a massive flop. And then you have to hope that they finish let's say Laziali are disappointed in the first 10 appearances of Davide Fratesi's, tenure. He's not performing. He's not really being much of a help on the pitch. Gennaro Gattuso doesn't really like him in his system. Whatever the case may be, who I also think is going to be a massive flop of a manager at Lazio, but that's another story.
Having some bust ups with his players in training, which that's been crazy to watch. But anyway,
fantastic. Yeah, I love seeing this already. And so let's say, we come to January and they're sitting in 15th place. They're not really. So what incentive let's say they fire Gattuso, what incentive does the next manager have? I'm sure he might be under some pressure to hey, just get us, keep us above, being relegated. That's it. Fratesi doesn't really hit the numbers of appearances, and then they don't finish top 10, and then he comes back, on to us after just a $1 million loan.
Well, and for the people that think Johnny's being crazy right now, tell me you saw Fiorentina fighting relegation last year.
And not for nothing, everyone's like, wow, 50% sell-on clause. Okay. Who's to say that they even sell him? Who's going to come in with an offer? And if an offer comes for 7-8 million, so we made an extra 4, if that happens, what likely is going to happen, if he is such a Laziale himself, he's going to stay till his contract runs out and probably sign again, if that's the case. So then 50% of 0 is what? What exactly? That's my problem. I'm not saying I'm not going to sing his praises over a deal that I think is not that great. We signed a player because we dragged our feet on another situation and allowed Chelsea to be able to enter the market. Listen, if you can get Djed Spence for 31.5 when the rumor number that it could only get approved is 25, then you could have probably got Palestra for 40, got that done, even if it was 40 plus 5, whatever. You get that done before a team has been able to enter. Same thing with the Romero situation. These things could have been done in a timely manner. Look at how quickly you were able to get the Djed Spence done. And you can't tell me that was because he had to talk to Catherine Ralph and he had to talk to this one and talk to that one and get 17 different signatures on a form before they were able to make an offer. You can't tell me. If that's what you really believe, then I got a bridge to sell you or beachfront property to sell you in Omaha, Nebraska. If that's really what you believe is the situation here. Why is it that it doesn't matter who the owner has been? He has been unable to sell players at their top value, except for players that it's so obvious that they are the best at their position. Literally 14 years at the club and you've only sold 6 players for 30 million euros. You have 14 years of that means 28 different transfer windows you've been a part of, and you've only been able to sell 6 players for 30 million euros. It's insane to me the way that people glaze this guy over doing the bare minimum of work. I'm not, and look, I'm not a fan of Oak Tree. I'm not defending Oak Tree. So please hear me when I'm saying Oak Tree is a problem as well. This type of ownership with these limitations, with this inability to move in the market in a timely manner is a problem. But it's not all been Oak Tree. Ausilio is not bulletproof, okay? He has failed multiple times. Look at Luis Enrique, for instance. That was a waste of 20 million euros. You could see I had tweets from 2023 excited about Martin Baturina and excited about Petar Sucic. Both of them, you could have got both of them for, well, you got Sucic for a great price, fine, fantastic. But that's also because you had that wrapped up in January before the summer window really even opened. And you also could have had Baturina for 20 million, which would have been 5 million less than what you spend on Luis Enrique, which would have allowed you, if you decided, to actually continue to try Andy Diouf on the outside and have Baturina as a mezzala in the midfield, which would have been another weapon or another thing, a feather in your cap, however you want to look at it. So it's insane to me, and especially since there was rumors that Inter were interested in Baturina before Sucic, but yet you somehow let that one fall by the wayside. You move in another direction, and you spend, a panic buy near the end of the transfer window in Andy Diouf, who we still hope can turn out good. But the guy has missed on so many players. And listen, you want to blame Simone Inzaghi for Joaquin Correa? Okay, you can do that. But you mean to tell me that, after Marcus Thuram tears his ACL, there was nobody else that you had in mind in case that deal didn't work out? You had nobody else scouted? We only scout one forward in all the leagues in Europe. That's it. That's the only forward that you scouted was Marcus Thuram, and that was it. Oh, and now we have to panic buy Joaquin Correa because he had a good relationship with Simone Inzaghi. If you are a sporting director, let me tell you this, okay? And people who want to you're going to come after me. I worked in professional soccer. I saw the list of players that a sporting director has that he is circling and keeping an eye on, whether it be forwards, whether it be midfielders, whether it be defenders, whether it be right backs, left backs. He has at least 10 players at each position. So you cannot tell me that Joaquin Correa was the only other viable option in that instance. I know you wanted to talk. Sorry, I'm almost going to wrap this up and then you'll be able to go off on your own.
Do your thing.
You cannot tell me that this guy is unable to offload players at top dollars, to bring in, fresh recruits, to be able to keep the cupboards fresh. Like Robin Gosens, right? A player, listen, I did like him, but he was a flop. Okay? He was not a successful signing. You have other guys. I'm trying now, of course, I'm blanking because my head is trying to cover 1,500 different points, but there have been players who have been brought in who have been flops. Joao Mario.
It's we could do his whole career. We could definitely do his whole career.
We could, and we could look at the net pos, like what we spent, and then what we eventually sold those players, if we even did sell those players for. And I guarantee you, it would be a net loss, guaranteed.
That ultimately it's right over the point that I want to try to make, which is like, the fan base and fan bases in general, it's way too binary. It's way too like, oh, you don't like Piero, but this one signing got done or this one deal got done and he's actually a genius and he's actually whatever. It can't possibly be like that. Like I'm sorry, but I've been around for everything else. And why do you think, go ahead.
I was going to say, if I get 2 out of every 10, deals right, is that successful?
Yeah, it's like, and you know what? I want to give everyone the truths of how I feel. I really like the fact that Frattesi is no longer going to be getting minutes on this team.
Agreed.
Mkhitaryan's still there, but I'm really happy that Frattesi is gone. But he's gone in a deal where, like, you didn't know if this deal was going to fall, if this objectively not good deal, considering what you signed him for and what you thought he was going to be. You didn't know that this deal was going to, fall out of the sky for you. Maybe they had been talking, Lazio had been talking behind the scenes for weeks, but like, I don't know. I know Frattesi's agent is Beppe Rizzo, and I know, everything that's going on with his clients. He talks to everybody. He actively tries to get, he tried to get Frattesi moved, and all you heard about it every January was Frattesi is moving. You had to have a faith that someone was going to come in and make the move for Frattesi, and I'm sorry to say, I don't believe in that kind of way of working. Where like these two moves themselves, I love them for the team. Frattesi out, and I love Spence in for the team. I can be objective about that. I'm not tying, my hatred for Piero, whatever. It's like, no, those are good things for the team, and I'm happy about them. I'm happy Piero got them done. But contextually, we talked about Frattesi. Why did we have to go for Spence in the first place? I'll tell you why. For 25 million euros, he went for Luis Enrique. What was Luis Enrique supposed to do? Slot right into Dumfries' place. They didn't spend 25 million for Luis Enrique to be. They did spend it for him to be the backup right wing back for one season. They didn't spend it long term thinking he was going to be the backup left wing back because he was so inept as the right wing back. Why do you think we were in the market to spend big 30 million euros on a right wing back? It's because the person that he identified for the role literally can't play right wing back. And the person that was going to be starting this year in the role was someone that Piero bought to be a central midfielder. That Kivu, the coach, had to turn into a right wing back option. That's why Spence had to happen. Oh, okay. I saw someone say Piero Ausilio masterclass. It's a masterclass that you didn't get your first option after publicly negotiating for 2 months. You didn't get your second option. Your second option, you did get him, but that medical fell through. So this is the third option. Unless you believe that They wanted Moussa Diaby. What did we hear for the last week? It's Moussa Diaby that they wanted to get. Oh, they didn't get him. You can make an argument that Spence, who I think is a great player that's going to fit great in the system, is the fourth option that they went to. That's not a master class. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Before him, it was also Norton Cuffy. That was the names we kept seeing over and over again.
We saw Norton Cuffy.
We saw.
I'm sure they could have gotten those players, but I think like as far as like actual trattative, like targets and where you actually were engaging with the club to get a transfer done, Spence is either the third or fourth option for the right wing back. So I love the player and I think he's a great option, but I'm not calling anything that happened this week a masterclass from Piero Ausilio. Half of the reasons why this is happening is because he's actually cleaning up a mess that he made. This is not like, oh, the team is improved, but take the context into it. You guys you have to be able to look at everything like within context. You can't be stuck with mediocrity. What's the next thing that's going to happen? That you're going to be stuck with mediocrity. They wanted Romero, who they were going after, who's not a part of Inter, because he wasn't going to wait any longer for us to try to get rid of Pavard. Why is Pavard still here? The reason Romero's not here is because Pavard's still here. Oh, but we like Pavard now. Okay. Romero is the better player today. Pavard is declining. Romero is in his prime right now.
And now let's also remember, like, I mean, I'm sure you saw it too, the Gazzetta story where it's like the only way Curtis Jones comes in is if Stankovic leaves. We still have Aslani here. Well, why haven't we been able to dump Aslani? Because nobody wants him. He's another net loss. The kid has been completely useless. And look, I thought that he might be a decent player. I didn't think that he was going to be, the vice Brozovic that some other people were thinking, but I thought like, he could be a good role player. He's been even worse than I anticipated as well. And now we're unable to get him. And he's also rejecting offers from other clubs. So we are unable to move a player who is really not wanted by anybody except for two clubs that he apparently doesn't want to go to because he thinks his level is better than. And now you're looking at, listen, I don't believe Gazzetta. Don't get it twisted either. I'm not saying that we're going to, to sell Stankovic to be able to bring in Curtis Jones because that doesn't make sense either.
They're not doing that.
No, they're not. They're not. But like, it's just this is a mess that you've made. Another prime example, one that upset me last year. I was very upset with this one. Selling Zalewski, which didn't make sense in my opinion because he could play both wing-back positions. He could also play Mezzala if needed. And you sell him, and that essentially is what brought Luis Enrique in. So we could have actually avoided this entire situation.
We're actively trying to get rid of this week.
We could have avoided this entire situation, not spent the $25 million on Luis Enrique, had we just kept Zalewski and made him the vice Dumfries. Whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah, I apologize to the fans who are listening to this who like feel like this is like a bitching pod when like objectively the team got better this week. I think we've said that enough though, that we like the moves. Yeah. I just don't like
it's okay to criticize things.
Yeah, exactly.
It's okay to criticize. Like, you could be happy with things in the club. And look, I am always, like I've said this, I am always going to support Inter. I'm going to support the players. I'm going to support Kivu. Yeah. But if there's things to call out and things that you don't agree with and things that you could see objectively that you don't like, it's okay to talk about them. And if other people do like them, guess what? It's okay to disagree with us. Hey, if you're sitting and listening to this and you think like, man, like I cannot stand Johnny anymore. Like he is so annoying. I just don't ever want to hear him speak. Guess what? You could buy a mic yourself. You have a laptop, clearly. You're able to sit behind it. You could start recording your own Inter podcast and you can call it Positive Vibes or whatever else you want to like.
What are these people, sorry to cut you off, but like what are you going to, when you grab your microphone, like what are you going to say? You're really going to come out and like we're going to continue to clap like seals for like the bare minimum and continue to get mediocrity and continue to say like Piero's this genius Over what? Like an outgoing that's an objectively terrible deal, one of your own making, and an incoming that was at least your third or fourth choice this summer. I'm sorry, but I'm not clapping for that. I'm happy the team got better, but don't conflate the two. That doesn't make him a great director. This is cleaning up a mess that he made, and the mess is still not clean. There's still more to do. So anyway, Johnny, I think we should stop. On this because
yeah. I don't want to keep going. It's enough. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's get to the next thing. Let's touch on this really quickly. I put out I'm gonna have to get this freaking tweet up here. I put out a tweet asking about whether or not it is significant to get a deal done earlier in the summer, or does it really matter if it happens later in the summer? Let me actually just pull up this tweet. Hold on. There you go. Do you believe that the timing of when your squad is completed during preseason camp versus the last days of the market has a meaningful impact on what the team is able to achieve during the season? There's a lot of factors that obviously go into it. I put out a poll. The majority of people believe that the timing does actually affect what your team can achieve for that season. With Inter specifically, what do you think, Johnny? Does it matter? It's a very experienced team. There's a lot of core pieces. There's not a ton of turnover. It's going to be like the team from last year with one or two positions changed. The players that they brought in are veterans. Like, does it really matter that it happens late in the window for you?
I think it depends on how quickly you want them to get acclimated to the system, to get acclimated to the players that they're going to be playing with. Sure, you can have some overlap between international teammates and stuff like that, which is fantastic for those that can have it. But I think when you are able to get them in earlier and you're able to allow them to, start to build those bonds, build those relationships, friendships, whatever, camaraderie, understanding of how a player likes to play, I remember from just, playing in leagues myself and then having been a part of the team, like some guys, they when they would talk on the bus ride to the airport, it would be, more so like, hey, like, this is how I like the ball played to me. This is where I would typically want you to be when I'm doing this. Or, you can have those tactical discussions and understand, like, if I like the ball played to my left foot when I'm running in, out in front of me where I'm able to stop it and get it onto my stronger right foot, that might be something where, you could have that ironed out in the preseason and be able to build that understanding of how to play with one another and how to, to work together and kind of almost develop a sixth sense of what the other person is thinking. Like, if you remember when there was times when, Perisic and Icardi, even though they didn't really get along on a personal level, they did kind of understand what the other one was thinking and how best to play a ball off and when to make runs into the box and stuff like that. Like, that's developed in training sessions. It's not developed just because of, being talented on the pitch. So, like, it does help. Now, there are certain players who I think because of their professionalism and their experience, they're able to just be plug and play. Right? They don't need the time to get acclimated. They don't really have to do it. I think it's a lot easier for a center back to be able to step in because they understand what their responsibility is, where it's a little bit different when you're bringing in a guy who may have only been a winger and now you're trying to convert them to a wing back. You may have only been a right back and now you're trying to convert them into a wing back. Like, it's learning a different position. It's understanding what your role is supposed to be, and you're able to, to adapt to that. So yeah, to me, it's always a more of a positive to get it done like early in the mercato, because if you're able to go through the preseason, play those games, even though like I look at them as meaningless in a lot of ways, I think it's also good to be able to get into playing shape, to be able to kind of understand your responsibilities and what your role is.
Hang out with your boys for 8
yeah,
weeks.
like you're able to have like some time, and
they
that's
go
when you can
away.
build.
They go away. It's not like their families are there. It's like
they're away with them. Like they're getting to spend the time together. Some of my favorite things were like when you would have them sing the song when they first arrive and kind of allowing them to play. Like that's just how you build friendship, and you could like build memories and kind of, even if it's a terrible song or it's a terrible performance. Or listen, there was one guy in Vegas who he had the voice of an angel. I don't know what he was doing playing football, but he could have been, probably on The Voice or something. But all kidding aside, like it's just good bonding. It's good for, the when you're a new person in a new city, a new club, when you see that they've been together for 5, 6, 7 years, a lot of these guys, like, you want to be able to break into that inner circle and build that friendship and that understanding of what is expected of me. And I think it's always best to get it in early. Granted, Djed Spence is probably going to be fine, but wouldn't it have been better for us, like, for him to get a full month and a half of being with the guys and playing with the guys and being able to get up to speed there? And the next thing you know, he's starting match day 1, where now
Right.
it's probably not likely. I mean,
he's not going to. He's not going to. It's also like maybe it wouldn't have applied in a World Cup summer because of when they get back.
Sure. That too, yeah, because he probably would have been coming back at the same time that Lautaro and Thuram came back.
Probably, yeah.
So yeah, all right, maybe it doesn't, but like, at least if he maybe would have come in earlier, because if I'm not mistaken, in I forgot who it was now, but somebody did come in earlier, like directly after the World Cup, and did get started with Inter right away, because there was no
this past summer. Pio playing in the Club World Championship, with Kivu, his first season, whatever, that made a huge difference for the kid's readiness. Absolutely.
And if he didn't, maybe he's out on loan last year,
exactly.
Like, he doesn't have an impact. Like, who knows? Like, maybe they're like, hey, we can't afford to take the risk on Pio right now. Like, we have to bring, who knows? Maybe we extended Arnautovic for another year because he needed to be the fourth one again. Like,
yeah,
a lot of things could have played out.
The people that like downplay the bonding moments, like you ask the team that when they're in the Coppa Italia semifinal, they're down to nothing at home to Como. You ask them what gets them to the next 45 minutes where they turn that around. And don't say Sucic. It's the power of friendship. Anyway, if you asked any coach in the world what would they rather have, they're always going to say that they want more time with the players.
Without question.
For Inter, it's a bit different, and a lot of you said this. It's because there's a strong core to the team. They have that locker room ready to go. They have the tactic ready to go, and like you're not making huge tweaks to the team. I think Sharma also called out some of our best signings have been late in the window. Notably, Johnny, your favorite, Wesley Schneider, came in deadline day. So. It doesn't necessarily, for a team like Inter, it doesn't affect us as much, the position that we're in, but in general, you always want them done earlier.
And he did start match day 1. He's one of the few who I do recall. I was actually surprised he did start match day 1, but
because he's a gangster, we don't have those anymore. All right, Luis Enrique. Looks like there's interest. I put this deck together like this morning, but it doesn't look like Roma is necessarily moving forward imminently. They have a deal structure in place. The player has agreed to terms. It looks like it would be a loan with an obligation for 25 mil around there. But also don't jump into this like too hard. Interisti, it's very likely that he stays. We don't know how it's going to shake out. All right. We're like an hour in, Johnny. It's time for you to do a blind ranking. This segment is called Johnny Goes Blind. If you have a better name, if anyone has a better name, please let me know, because I just could not come up with one.
They'll just say Johnny is blind, but
Johnny is blind. Yeah, people will love that, actually. People will love that.
Yep.
Alrighty. We are going to do a blind ranking of 10 matches that
10, okay.
That are just really fun matches of the 2020s. So you guys know the deal. I'm going to call out a match, and Johnny, you're going to go ahead and rank them. So first up, let's go with Inter 4, Milan 2 in the league, February 2020. I'm going to pull up this game so you can see exactly what happened. But this is the Victor.
This is the one we were down.
Where Lukaku raises the the corner flag.
The corner flag.
Yep. So this is in the top 10 matches of the 2020s. Your thoughts on where this would end up?
So this is the one we were down 2-0, and we came back and won 4-2.
Were we down 2-0? It was.
Isn't this the one?
Yes,
where Brozovic scored the first goal.
Exactly.
And started the comeback.
Correct.
This was such a game. I remember watching this game obviously live and being very angry that we were down 2-0 because I thought we were the much better team, and we went down to them, and I was like, how can we lose to these bums? And then the comeback was on after that beautiful Brozovic goal. I think Vecino scored the second one.
Yep.
And
Brozovic was like the left-footed volley from outside
left-footed
the box.
volley from outside. It was just a beautiful strike in the bottom corner there. Like, what a game. Because I'm scared of what else is going to be on this list, I'm gonna be I want to put this higher, but I'm gonna put it at 5. Yeah, we'll go with 5. I was
overturning a 2-goal deficit at halftime to go top of Serie A with a 4-2 win in like a huge game. We're gonna go 5.
I'm going to go 5 right now. I have a feeling there's going to be some other games on this list that I'm not thinking of right off the top of my head, but I feel like I'm going to have at least 4 more that I think are better.
Johnny, you can see my screen, right?
I can only see the score of this game.
You can't see the formation, the lineup on the side?
Oh.
Look.
So we got Sanchez, Lukaku, Candreva, Ashley Young. Brozovic, Barella, Vecino, Skriniar, De Vrij. Is that Godin?
Yes. Look who is in
Barelli's
net.
the goalie?
Yes.
Yo, that's crazy.
Biragi coming off the bench. Victor Moses. We have come. This was in 20.
Was that Eriksson was there too, right?
Eriksson came into the
game. Did Eriksson come in? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. What a terrible team in the grand scheme of things. Like, that's not really a strong team. Although, listen, shout out Ashley Young. What an unheralded play. I loved Ashley Young.
He was great. Victor Moses also set
he
up
was solid
for that goal.
Yeah, I remember that back post cross that he hit him, and he had it in.
Where's my pen? Do you have a pen? Can you write these down?
I have a pen. Let me just get it.
So Inter 4, Milan 2. You're putting that at 5. Okay, next up.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna write this down for me too, so I remember. Okay.
Next up is going to be Inter Napoli 3-2. This was in 2021. Let me go ahead. I think Napoli had actually been undefeated throughout the season up until this point. Or they had an unbeaten start to Serie A. We actually came back from being down in this game. And this is the one that earned us a victory at San Siro, 2021. Lautaro, Correa, Perisic, Darmian, Chala, Brozo, Barella, Chala when he was a Mezzala.
Oh my gosh, Ranocchia.
Bastoni, Ranocchia, Skriniar, Handanovic. Where does this game rank?
This one I'm not really remembering the game itself. Hakan, Perisic, and Lautaro scored. Zielinski and Mertens. Yeah, I'm having a hard time remembering. I remember the scoreline. Was this in January? This game?
I'm gonna find you clips, but I don't want to get struck by YouTube.
This
was a January game.
Okay, so I think this was the year that they won the Scudetto. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, this game. All right. Yeah. No. This is when we lost. All right. This is the year we lost the Champions League final to Man City. Is it? No. Yeah, it is. No,
that was 23. This is the year before.
Lost in 23. You're right.
I would put the highlights on, but I don't want to get struck. That's the only thing.
Yeah. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm gonna put this one at 8, just because I'm having a hard time remembering the year. I remember the score line, and I remember, yes, it was their first loss of the season. So that's cool. But Napoli ended up winning the Scudetto, no?
They did.
So
no, because that would have been the year that Inter was in the Champions League final, right?
Who won? Now, I'm forgetting. Yeah, I don't think we were. Why am I having a hard time? 2021. All right, can I? I can't look this up. I have to do it blind. Okay, so yeah, you know what? I'm gonna put it at.
No, Milan won the title that year.
Oh, this was the year we choked it.
Yes,
Oh my gosh. Okay. So we choked the Scudetto this year.
But the significance of the game was that we
ended their undefeated start.
Right.
In the grand scheme of things, it didn't really matter. I'm confusing this with the game that we ended up winning in January, where we beat Napoli while they were still in first. They were so far ahead of us at that point. So that's what I think I'm confusing it with.
Yeah.
Because we beat them that year as well. I'm gonna put this at 8. So 3-2 v Napoli 2021. Yeah, because I'm having a hard time remembering that one, but okay.
All right, next one up is going to be a group stage game in the champion. Sorry, in the this is a quarterfinal game. Was it? I was thinking of a different game. Oh no!
This is the game we were down 3-0.
This
and
is
we came back.
Yes, this is the game that we were down 3-0. Came back. This was a fun game. This is a fun game.
Yeah, because I remember going into it with zero expectations. It felt like we didn't really throw out the strongest lineup. I could be wrong, but I thought that this was a different. Yeah, we were down 3-0, right?
This is so it's pulling up the wrong game. Hold on.
Because that lineup was not the lineup we had in the game that we came back and won and drew 3-3.
This is the one. Yeah. This is the one. That's when Joao Mario scored a first half hat trick. Sorry, I got confused there. I didn't realize that we had three games.
Can you click on Inter's lineup though? Because I remember that one being not as impressive. Like I didn't expect.
and Alexis starting.
Yeah,
this also was the group stage game before our last group stage game. We hadn't qualified yet, so we actually needed this point.
Yeah, and we didn't take this match seriously in terms of the lineup that was thrown out there. And we ended up getting 3-3. I mean,
Fratesi,
I think in terms of entertainment, it was fun. I don't think in terms of memorability, what I want to put. See, like now I kind of put myself in a bad situation because I put the Napoli game too low because this game, in my opinion, is not better.
Oh, they'd already qualified. That's right.
Yeah, we had already qualified.
Yeah.
That's why this lineup was so weak. Yeah, this. I'm giving this the 9 spot.
I think that's fair.
Just because it was cool. Like I remember watching it because I knew we were going to record a pod, but I was just like, we're not really trying. And then to come back the way we did, I was like, dang, like that's embarrassing for Benfica. So yeah, that's going to the 9er.
This game. So now it's going to start getting really tough.
Oh no! And this is oh my gosh.
This is away from home at Bayern Munich in the Champions League.
Bayern's first home loss in forever in both league and Champions League. They hadn't lost. I think it was something ridiculous.
So we've been to the Champions League final 2 seasons before. The season after that. The season after that, was not a good campaign. We get knocked out by Atletico. And now we're in the quarterfinals at Bayern, who's a freaking juggernaut. This is like a real test. Like, hey, are we still at our level or not? We go there and we snatch. That was an incredible game. And Inter played, that first half was unbelievable. Peak Lautaro. Frattesi obviously has the moment in the 88th minute, winner after they tied the game in the 85th minute. Man, I remember this game. I watched it at a bar. It was perfect. It was perfect.
Yeah, it was an incredible game.
Because you don't know what's coming up next.
But again, like my problem is, there's so many games that I'm thinking of in the 2020s that I think are still better than this in terms of what I remember and what I enjoyed. Like there's one game in particular that I really want to be on this list, and I'd be upset if it's not. I'm not going to say it.
It's not the best matches. It's not the most fun. It's just these are 10 matches.
Yep, and I'm hoping that one of two of the matches that are in my mind are there. So I'm going to put this game at 6 for me.
What?
Yeah, this is a 6 for me. I'm telling you, I got games in mind that I think I'm gonna have ahead.
Okay.
Actually, wait, and there's only 6 games left. Yikes, maybe this was a bad call. But hey,
That was a bad call, bro.
But that's part. You know what? That's part of the blind rankings. There's always going to be one that drives people crazy. And listen, people already hate me anyway, so I might as well give them more of a reason to not like me. So here we go.
Next
2021
in the Coppa Italia quarterfinal. No fans in the stand. Christian Eriksen, 97th
Eriksen, my boy.
minute.
This is number 4. This is getting number 4 for me because I was such a Christian Eriksen believer. I was a Christian Eriksen truther. I did not think he deserved to be on the bench behind guys like Gagliardini. And for him to come on and to see what that goal meant to him was beautiful. I loved Christian Eriksen. I loved him from his days at Ajax. I loved him from his days at Tottenham. And the fact that we were able to get him in January on a year that he could have walked, we could have gotten him for free if we waited till the summer. Listen, for the things I don't like about Steven Zhang, to have the balls to pull the trigger and get that deal done and to make us a stronger team then. Love Christian Eriksen. I loved what the goal meant to him. That's 4th for me without question because it was such a memorable game. And seeing Tatarusano look at that ball go in and just like be stunned at how perfect that ball was struck. And that's why you have to put it, like I'm putting it high because it's such a memorable moment that I can remember.
It was like
the exact thing. Yes. So this is number 4 for me. Love it.
Kolarov, left center back, current assistant.
Oh God, that's crazy. Yeah.
At Inter, but another Coppa Italia game.
Is it the one I was gonna? Yeah, this is the one I was gonna. I wanted to be on the list. I'm gonna put just because I think that
2, Inter 4.
Just because I think that there's gonna be one higher than it. This is number 2 for me because what a back and
forth
Perisic
brace game.
Yes, what a back and forth this was in the first half. Like they took the lead, we tied it. They took the lead again on an ugly. If I'm not mistaken, it was Vlahovic who got the second goal for them.
Yes.
I was very upset with Handanovic, but I was like, there's no way we could lose to these bums. And we ended up coming back. Yeah, Perisic with his brace. Perisic was unbelievable this game. Unbelievable. Not even just the goals, the dribbling, the defending, the tracking back, everything that he did. Love Ivan. That's number 2 for me.
We'll do a recent one coming from this past season. A game that like I loved this game. Como's 2-0 up. We already talked about this game in this pod. Como's 2-0 up at half. This was the Petar Sucic game where he comes in and completely changes it. This is also like there's a lot of conversation. We're running away with the league. Like, you know, is it only going to be a success if it's a domestic double? You're 2-0 down in the semifinal at home. This is just like one of the craziest, biggest, most fun times I've ever had watching it.
Yeah.
Inter 3, Como 2.
Gorgeous game from our boy Petar Sucic. This was his coming out party game. People finally put some respect on his name, specifically some people across the sea, finally giving him some flowers. This is number 3 for me. I still think there's one more that's going to be on here. I'm hoping that I'm right. I'm going to give this
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. So you have 7, 10.
I have 1, 7, and 10 left.
1, 7, and 10 left. Okay. Where do we go to next? We'll go here. I think we have to go here. This one will live in infamy and is actually featured on this podcast week in and week out because it's the game from Gazzetta that is sitting on my shelf behind me. This is not 7. January? No, hold on. What was it?
I was gonna say, you said 2020s. I was like, what are you doing here?
2024. I feel like it should have came up immediately. There you go. La seconda stella.
Oh, brother.
Winning a Scudetto on our rivals' heads. gorgeous, will be remembered forever.
Oh
Audi in this
no!
game acting like a fool. I'll remember Calabria acting like a fool.
Yo, this is so bad. Oh, I put myself in a pickle here.
You did.
I
You
can't give
either
this the number. I
hate-
can't get. Oh, dude, that's because I thought there was another game. Yo, Segundo Cela is so important though.
It's very important.
I can't put. See, I can't put it at 7 and 10. I have to give it the number 1 spot because I burned myself here. I burned myself. I know you're gonna put the game that I wanted to put number 1.
It's the point of the blind ranking
on here, and I'm gonna be so angry with you. Whatever. This is the number 1 because of the level of importance, not because it's my favorite, but because see, you fucking piece of shit. This guy, bro.
I'm the piece of shit. I told
You're
you.
the piece of shit.
It could have been any 10 matches. This
You're
is
the
how
piece
you
of shit.
decided to do it. Inter 4, Barcelona 3. Inter goes to the Champions League final. We won't talk about what happened in that final, but we will talk about an incredibly memorable 120 minutes against Barcelona, a fan base that we are beefing with hard.
So
moments
hard.
left and right.
And the thing that people are going to say is like, look at this. The one that Johnny wanted to put number 1 is the game that Fratesi is most remembered for. And it has nothing to do with Davide Fratesi. It has to do with how insane this game was. The saves that Jan Sommer made in this game. The way that he stepped up and was massive for us. Yes, some of the goals were, sloppy defending, leaving people wide open, whatever the case may be. You have the initial goal from Lautaro. You have the penalty from Hakan to give you the 2-0 lead at halftime. You think going into it, this is it. There's no way we're blowing this game. Then we do blow it. They go up 3-2. You're like stunned. Acerbi with the most insane goal. Like this game would have been my number 1 had I not forgot the Segundo Stella, because I'm sorry. Listen, we can debate this too, but I think getting that second star is more important than a game that led to us losing a Champions League final in an embarrassing manner. This is number 7. I'm sorry. I would have put this. Well, yeah, I said number 1, but I think now that I have the order, I think I would have put this number 3. Because the Inter v Juve game, the Perisic Coppa Italia game, I love that game. I love Perisic, one of my favorite players. So anyway, let's go.
Coming in at number 10, another Coppa Italia game. And absolutely one of the most
perfect
dominant performances from minute 1 to minute 90 that you have ever seen. One of the best performances of Kivo's team all year in a game where it would have been easy for them to.
Incredible performance, but not memorable in terms of the performance itself. Like as a footballing fan, you're gonna but I think as an Inter fan, you're not really going to look at this game as wow, what a master. You're not gonna remember this game. I'm sorry.
I remember.
You're gonna remember it for the domestic double. That's what you're gonna remember it more so for.
Exactly.
You're not gonna remember the game itself. You're gonna remember what you were able to get.
All the shit that was talked that year, all the stuff that Kivu had to go through to finish it off with a domestic double. For me, great moment of the 2020. So this is 6 years. That's a great moment in the last 6 years.
Fantastic moment. But yes, I'm gonna have to put this at 10th. Which realistically I probably should have put the Benfica game 10th. Listen, I don't really hate my list so much as I put the game that I wanted in the top 3 really at number 7. I forgot about the Segundo Stella game, to be honest. Not because of
there's a lot of games you've chosen from.
And it's not because of the game. It
just didn't come to your mind.
It just didn't come to my mind because I didn't remember the game as much as what we won. That's really again what it came down to. I don't hate my list. I'm sure there's gonna be people who do. You know what? I just don't care anymore. I just don't care anymore.
That's what we do. All right, Johnny, here's your list. Coming in at number 10, Lazio Inter in the Coppa Italia final this past season. Inter wins 2-0 in a dominant game. That comes in at number 10. Number 9, Benfica Inter. 3-3 group stage draw. Inter comes back from 3-0 down. It's appropriate to be, right around this spot. Number 8, Inter 3, Napoli 2. This is when we end Napoli's unbeaten start to Serie A. That campaign ended up with Milan winning the title. It's not a particularly memorable season, but for the moment, at the time, it was pretty big. Comes in at number 8. That's fair. Number 7, this is where you stepped stepped out here. Barcelona, Inter, the 4-3 at the stadium to send us to Champions League final comes in at number 7. Number 6, Bayern Inter, the first leg. The quarterfinal at Bayern, ending their streak 2-1 Inter. Number 5, Inter 4, Milan 2. This is the Brozovic screamer from outside the box that gets the rally started. End up winning the derby there. Number 4, Inter 2, Milan 1. This is the Christian Eriksen free kick 97th minute Coppa Italia game. Number 3, Inter 3, Como 2, coming back from a 2-0 deficit at home to win. That was a game this year. Number 2, Juventus 2, Inter 4, Coppa Italia final. That is the Perisic brace game. And then coming in at number 1, La Seconda Stella, Inter beats Milan at home to win it. Blind ranking. Congratulations, Johnny.
Johnny is blind.
That's tough to do. That's tough to do.
Johnny is blind. Yeah, normally it's
Johnny
5. 10 was a lot.
That's
10
a
was
lot.
a lot. I think we got to do 5.
I'll put you
I think we got to keep it at 5. But don't worry, I'll get you. I'll get you back. I'm gonna do something.
Are we doing Johnny's blind every week, or we're doing it every like other week, every month?
No, I mean,
how blind is Johnny?
How blind is Johnny? That's it. That's what we'll do. We could do it every month, maybe not every week.
We'll do it every month. That sounds good. All right, I'm good to go. Listen, happy with the state of the team right now. I think we're strong here.
Yep.
Some things that you just can't seem to be able to have a conversation about without it being crazy, but it is what it is. I'm good to go. Season starts very soon. We'll have
9 days.
One more Mercato update. Hopefully, we'll see if something happens. If not,
hopefully this guy comes in. This is probably out of all the players we will sign, probably the one I'd be most excited about if it happens.
And it would be the third Englishman of the summer.
Yep.
They could start the season today with this squad. Technically, you could. From a numbers perspective.
What do you think? Fagioli and focaccia? Is that what we could call this summer?
Fagioli and focaccia.
I mean, I know that's not what they call toast, but
it's not great, but it'll get the job done. That's
right. Yeah.
I'm hungry. You know what I mean? I'll take it.
Listen,
I'll take it.
I think we gotta get our buddy from Interclub Boston to, if we do wrap up the Englishman, to make a Fagioli and focaccia shirt with them in Inter kits. I would rock that.
That would do numbers.
I would actually rock that shirt.
That would do crazy numbers. We should talk about it. We should make it happen. If any of you steal, this is the official TM. We're putting the TM.
Yeah, we're putting the TM on it right now. If you steal it, Sharma, I'll come for you, dude. I will. You make great T-shirts. I will come for you if you steal. You would probably sell it better than us. But if you throw like Sharma and some interview spot on it, I'm cool with that. Actually,
he doesn't listen to the podcast.
He doesn't. He's too big time for us. He's too big time.
All right, in the words of the great Roberto Scarpini, Forza ragazzi, forza ragazzi, forza ragazzi.